Hi, this is János, Real World Audio, and I'm continuing the Audiophile's journey. What I have experienced in myself and in others, what was the key to success. And during the first episode, the first part of this talk, I talked about how we all start out and what are some of the pitfalls I've seen people fall into. And now I'm going to that part, that stage, when you realize that your bank account is not deep enough to finance your hobby to your heart's desire. And yes, in this case, what happens is that you start learning how to modify gear, tweak gear, and then you get your early successes. You find that this is just fantastic, works tremendously well. With little effort, you reaped a huge amount of benefit, and at this point you get into builds and challenges that require higher and higher levels of skill set, and the first couple of ones are tremendous success, but there will be some that you embark on which others said it worked fantastic for them, and you do it, and you're not happy with it. Maybe in the beginning you are, but after a few months you realize something is very wrong. And I've done these 5 modifications that others were very happy with, and yeah, I was happy with each of them, but now it sounds really bad. And at that point some people just give it up and go back to purchasing gear that they can afford, and they have, that kind of remorse that I will never be able to get a decent audio system, and just kind of like this whole hobby turns kind of like a bittersweet source of thing or enjoyment or unhappiness for them. But there are others who stick to building, and this is the stage where you start expanding your technical skill set. When you start learning about components, you learn about schematics, you learn about crossovers, you learn about speaker design, what do the parameters mean, and all sorts of things, and you start digging into it. And that's how you can go through that barrier that you hit before, that some tweaks worked and others don't. And through technical skill set, you will be able to navigate the challenges and overcome these challenges for yourself. And this is a really hard journey, but I would say the first part of the journey, just listening to gear and finding audio bodies, that was really hard as well, because that's something you have not done before. This is the same thing. This is something you have not done before, and taking the first step is the hardest. And then it becomes easier and easier, and it becomes a second nature, just like walking or talking. However, this phase also has its pitfalls, which is you become obsessed with measurements and obsessed with technicalities, and then you just become the exact opposite that you were before, not interested at all about measurements. Now it's all that interests you are measurements. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with measurements, but being obsessed with anything, and anything means collecting gear, doing measurements, etc. Obsession is not a good thing when you do it at the exclusion of sanity and practicality. And always what I've noticed when people go through their measurement phases, and most people who, and I will say not most, every single person I know of who are very happy with their audio gear and found a balanced state, they went through the measurement state and stepped beyond. And those who got stuck in their measurement state have not reached their happy zone, even if they've been doing the measuring thing for 20 years. And why is that? That's because you have to, there's not everything that can be measured, and what can be measured, not everything counts. So it will not give you the solution, because it's a skill set that's not sufficient to give you a full solution to have a successful audio gear that gives you all the enjoyment and all that experience level that is possible with this hobby. And after that, after the measurement phase, of course, it is part of the builder phase. Some people build, some people just measure. If you build and measure, you are going to be much more successful compared to just measuring stuff. If you just measure for the sake of measurement and you are not putting into practice by building equipment, it's a total waste of time. It's a 100% waste of time. If you combine it with how you apply changes to your gear, how you do your equipment design, then that will propel you to a further stage. However, you will still get stuck at that stage if you are not willing to go beyond, because even at this stage, the most critical changes that are occurring is in yourself, your hearing skill, your listening skill. And what I found in my example and what my mentor taught me is that measurements are the tools that you use to aid to develop your listening skills. So use the measurements to aid you, to help you to tell the difference between what you are hearing, to how to identify audio phenomena and become more aware. Because the number one measuring device that you want to do this entirety of the hobby for is your acoustic system, your neuroacoustic system, your ears and your brains. And if you pursue this hobby for any other sake, for computer's sake, then this is then you are basically a scientist. You are not an audiophile, and it will give you joy, intellectual joy, but it will not give you an audio system that that has that full capacity that you could get for yourself. And I know people don't understand it always, and whichever stage of audiophile journey you are at, we always think that's the end of the journey and there's no more, and that you know everything. And I really advise everyone to completely lose that sort of attitude, because when you think you have arrived to the end of your journey, that is when you are stuck, when you have become trapped to obsessive compulsive behavior, and you are incapable to get advice from others. And that's where that's a sign that you are stagnating and you are not progressing to the capacity that you would be capable of. And I'm fully aware of this myself, and partly that's why I created this channel, so I get your feedback as well. And when you write feedback to me that, oh, this is different experience, János, that I had, then that makes me think about it, and I'm re-evaluating my experiences, my knowledge, and that helps me to step further, to try out new things, to find new ideas. And that's always, I found that it's the source of more future happiness and joy and success, to stay open. And then what I noticed on myself and on every successful audio equipment designer, company owner and builder, that the next level of achievement that you can get is when you step beyond the skill set level. So when you have an excellent knowledge, technical skills, you know how to measure, you know how to build stuff, but there's still a cap that you cannot go beyond. And you can go beyond is by leaning into your intuition, leaning into your subconscious, letting go of intellectual control and embracing the art. Because what we are listening to is music, is a form of art, is a form of artistic expression, and audio gear, how we choose it, although every single choice has technicalities in itself, but there's such a vast array of technicalities that sorting and sifting through them and finding the right matches and right balance is actually based on your intuition, and it's a form of art. And when you listen to truly exceptional audio gear, every single person basically notes and says, yes, this is not technical skill anymore, this is a form of art. And when you arrive there, that's when you can step beyond those limitations that measurements and technicalities have presented to you in the past. And for me, that was the biggest step, the biggest jump I have made. It was like a kind of like before that, like driving in traffic, and now like taking an airplane. That's the difference. That's the leap that you make when you are at that part of your journey. And looking at my audiophile buddies, friends, that's the leap that every single audiophile wants to make. And that's why I made this video, because this is of critical importance, that when you are in your audio journey, at any phase, any level, but especially at that level when you've been building gear for years, that lean into your intuition, to your artistic side, and let your subconscious work on the problem and put it together for you, and go with the flow, and you will be more successful, more happy than you were ever before. Have a wonderful day. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. Support me with electronic coffee, which is a few dollars of your support. That goes a very long way for me to help me able to sustain and maintain this channel. And have a wonderful day and an even more wonderful audio journey. Thank you. Bye bye.